Saya telah dipilih oleh Majlis Raja-Raja untuk memikul tanggungjawab sebagai Yang di-Pertuan Agong ke-17 mulai pada 31 Januari 2024.
Johor ruler Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar is set to be crowned the next Yang di-Pertuan Agong at the end of January. Known for his outspokenness on national affairs, Sultan Ibrahim once warned in 2015, stating that there is no room for hate and racism in Johor. He even urged the authorities to take strong and impartial action against racists, advocating for their arrest. During the election campaign period, when racial and religious sentiments were escalating, the Johor ruler warned politicians multiple times not to use race or religion to exploit the sentiments of the people to cover their incompetence. Sultan Ibrahim's opposition to racism is not merely lip service. In 2006, when he was still the Crown Prince of Johor, he attended the century-old Johor Bahru Old Chinese Temple for the annual Chingay Parade. In 2008, he initiated the Kembara Mahkota Johor, an annual royal motorcycle tour program for Sultan Ibrahim and his family to meet with fellow Johorians, as well as to provide charity for the poor. This activity has been a tradition of the Johor royal family for nearly 15 years. Sultan Ibrahim believes that Malaysians consist of different races and religions and rejects any racist sentiment. This strong stance contrasts sharply with the current political atmosphere shaped by politicians, establishing the Johor royal family as a beloved and people-friendly figure across various ethnicities. When Sultan Ibrahim travels, it's either in the world's most expensive truck, a golden private jet, or various supercars. The exact wealth of Sultan Ibrahim himself is unknown, but we can get a glimpse of the commercial activities of the Johor royal family. According to Bursa, companies whose shares are directly owned by Sultan Ibrahim include Berjaya Asset, Berjaya Food, and Redtone. He is also involved in various business activities with notable projects such as Johor Forest City, Melaka Gateway, and Maharani Energy Gateway. Forest City is widely reported as a joint venture between a top developer from China, Guangdong-based Country Garden Holdings and the Johor state-owned Kumpulan Prasanara Rakyat Johor through Esplanade Dangga 88 Sendirian Berhad. In 2014, Malaysia Kini revealed that Sultan Ibrahim, holding 64.4% of the shares, is the largest shareholder of Esplanade Dangga 88. The massive reclamation project covering over 3,000 hectares, equivalent to half of Putrajaya, significantly increased the demand for sand and, of course, benefited sand mining companies. The Johor royal family, through Mados Sendirian Berhad, is involved in sand mining, creating a growing commercial empire for the royal family. Sultan Ibrahim has also been accused of selling land to developers, with one notable transaction being the sale of 116 acres of prime land in Johor Bahru to Chinese developer Guangzhou R&F. The deal pocketed the Sultan 4.5 billion ringgit and catapulted Sultan Ibrahim into Malaysia's 50 richest list. Investigations by Malaysia Kini revealed similarities in the ownership structure of Melaka Gateway and Maharani Energy Gateway with Forest City. Sultan Ibrahim directly holds a 40% interest in Maharani Energy Gateway, making him the largest beneficiary. In the case of Melaka Gateway, although Sultan Ibrahim joined as an investor later, he indirectly owns 6 million ringgit, or 30%, making him the second largest shareholder. Throughout the years, Malaysia Kini has published insightful reports, including pieces such as the case of Forest City and the Johor Sultan, of reclamation, sand and the royal company, and Johor Sultan's sea reclamation venture expands to Muar. These articles delve into critical issues surrounding developments involving the Johor royal family. If you value the role of Malaysia Kini and Kinitv as independent media watchdogs, we invite you to subscribe and support us. Scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the information section to contribute and ensure the continuation of our independent journalism. These projects have faced criticism for allegedly bypassing environmental impact assessments and directly engaging in reclamation and island building. This has had adverse effects on the surrounding ecology and jeopardized the livelihoods of fishermen. Additionally, some projects are suspected of compromising national territory and have faced considerable controversy. Critics argue that the royal family should not be actively involved in business to avoid creating unfair competition in the market. However, Sultan Ibrahim has defended his commercial activities by stating that he cannot depend on his 27,000 ringgit monthly allowance and must earn a living like ordinary Malaysians. In a December interview with Singapore's Straits Times, Sultan Ibrahim asserted that he would not be a puppet king and requested greater responsibilities as the head of state, including overseeing the MACC and Petronas. The aim is to combat corruption. These remarks immediately raised concerns about overstepping the boundaries of the rulers. Former Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad promptly voiced objections, suggesting that this could endanger the constitutional monarchy. According to Mahathir, the separation of powers between the two is better than absolute power. This is not the first time Mahathir has publicly clashed with the Johor royal family. The most notable incident was the 1993 constitutional crisis, describing Mahathir as a thoroughly modern prime minister. The UK's Independent said in an article published on January 31, 1993, that attacks on the ruler's power had been a theme of his time in office after he took the reins from Hussein On in 1981. The events leading to this were triggered by the Gomez incident involving Sultan Iskandar, the late father of the current Sultan Ibrahim, which provided Mahathir with the opportunity to implement constitutional amendments in 1993. This allowed the royal family, previously immune from civil and criminal prosecution, to be charged in special courts if they committed any offences. In the political turmoil of the Johor Menteri Besar change in April 2019, Mahathir openly challenged Sultan Ibrahim, asserting that Malaysia is not an absolute monarchy. At that time, the Johor Chief Minister Osman Sapian resigned from his role, sparking a public dispute between Mahathir and the Johor royal family regarding the Sultan's authority to select the Menteri Besar. Tunku Ismail, the Crown Prince, claimed that the Sultan had the absolute right to choose the Chief Minister, while Sultan Ibrahim told certain parties not to meddle in the state's affairs. Mahathir retaliated, stating that if rulers had the final word on who would become Prime Minister or Menteri Besar, then Malaysia would not be a democratic nation. The then Minister of Home Affairs and Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin also reminded Sultan Ibrahim that he must stop interfering in state administrative affairs. In response to Sultan Ibrahim's request to expand royal powers, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim stated that the views can be taken up for discussion, but will not influence national policies or our principle of constitutional monarchy. However, legal experts hold different opinions. Lawyer Hanif Khatri Abdullah said it's worth considering Sultan Ibrahim's proposal. He also proposed for the federal constitution and state constitutions to be amended to bar royals from being involved directly or indirectly in any business to avoid conflicts of interest. On the contrary, lawyer Azira Aziz believes that the MACC and Petronas should be accountable only to the parliament. Meanwhile, lawyer New Sin Yu expresses concern that if scandals arise in the MACC or Petronas, the royal family may inevitably be implicated or questioned. On the contrary, if elected representatives and the government are implicated in abuse of power, the people can seek change through the ballot. Regardless, Sultan Ibrahim's idea of expanding royal powers may pose a challenge to the Anwar Ibrahim government. Whether Anwar, who appears to have a harmonious relationship with Sultan Ibrahim, can balance the relationship between the government and Malay rulers remains to be seen. Can Sultan Ibrahim, who has zero tolerance for extremism, ease the racial and religious atmosphere in the country? These are perhaps the focal points to watch after Sultan Ibrahim assumes the position of the new head of state. Stay tuned to Malaysia Kini and Kinitv for updates on national affairs. We also welcome your support by scanning the QR code for donations to encourage us to create more quality content.